The sentiment for Halo Infinite seems to be that by the time it comes out, if it doesn't do good, Halo is going to fall off a cliff big time. So, joining me in this conversation to help me navigate this topic is Travis Tieguy Northup. He's a writer for IGN and co-host for Fireteam Chat, a Destiny podcast. But also, as you put it to me in the Discord when we were talking for a bit, you're a Halo tryhard.
Oh yeah, big time Halo fan from the early days. I think Halo 2 was the game that made multiplayer click for me. I never really played a lot of multiplayer games, and Halo 2 just absorbed my life. I think I was in middle school or early high school, and that's all I did with any of my friends. So I've been a Bungie junkie ever since.
You're lucky because I started with Halo 3 because I didn't have an Xbox. So my brother had an Xbox. He had Halo, so I'd played it every once in a while, even though my mother wasn't great about that. But once I got to college, it was on. I got the 360, got Halo 3. Yeah, I was in it ever since also. You're also working on a review for Oddworld Soulstorm, is that correct?
That's right, yeah. They're having some issues with their review copy, so the review's probably going to show up after the game is out. But yeah, I'm working on that right now for IGN, so keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get into this. Halo Infinite, it's coming out fall-ish 2021, and a lot of people are a little nervous about it. Do you feel like it's a fair sentiment for Halo Infinite to suggest that if it doesn't do as well, maybe better than Halo 5, or let's just say as well as Halo 5, that Halo's done?
I don't really. To be honest, I'm one of those guys who, Halo isn't for everyone. Their games have been up and down. I think probably Halo 4 in terms of multiplayer was a low point in the series, and then a lot of people didn't like Halo 5 story. I personally like Halo 5 story. I don't know why people complain about it, but I think it's been ups and downs, but it's one of those iconic franchises where it'll probably just continue to exist for as long as the Xbox brand exists, which doesn't seem to have any way of going the way of the dodo. It's kind of similar to Mario at this point, right? Mario has some crappy games. We've all played a bad Mario game, but we don't think oh, well, if the next Mario game isn't good, we're not going to see Mario anymore, So it seems like one of those things that is kind of exclusive to Halo. And there's been lots of Halo games that aren't mainline FPS games that have done fine. So the franchise is still doing well, and the TV shows are forthcoming. And I just think it's a brand that's not really going to go anywhere, even if Infinite ends up not being God's gift to FPS. But that said, I'm still feeling pretty good about it. I actually have confidence in 343. I think they proved with Halo 4 they can tell a really great story. I think they proved with Halo 5 that they can make a really killer competitive sandbox, and I think they have all the pieces there. They've just never gotten it all right at the same time, and I think that's going to be the test for Halo Infinite. How different is it from the other Halos? Are all the right pieces there? Right. Why aren't they doing a multiplayer beta like they did with Halo 5? Seems like maybe that would be important, but we'll see what they do there.
Well, what's funny is you bring up Mario, and when we talk about a crappy Mario game, a crappy Mario game is an 86. Metacritic average, right?
That's true. Fair enough. Yeah,
so it's enough. Halo has never been below an 84.
Yeah.
We're talking about the mainline series. So you got Halo Combat Evolved was a 97 average on Metacritic.
Deserved it.
Yeah. Halo 2, 95. Halo 3, 94. Right? And so then you have Halo 4 in the 80s, and then you have Halo 5 in the 80s. Critically, still pretty freaking good. Right? Yeah. So what would Halo Infinite need at this point to knock it out the park?
To knock it out of the park, I think they would need to have they would need to prove that the Halo vision for shooters is still valid, right? Because the world has evolved so much with FPSs, and there's one side that's all looter shooter craziness like Destiny, which I talk about every week, and then the other side is ultra competitive as a service but they've got COD Warzone, right, where it's very kind of dynamic and it's always changing. And I think Halo's very old school. They punish you for running, at least in the most recent one, Halo 5, right? And when they tried to give you unlimited sprint in Halo 4, people were absolutely not, right? Which I'm one of those people. I think sprinting, they should let you do it in Halo, but you should not regenerate your shields. I think that's the perfect solution, to be honest. So I think that they probably have to just nail the multiplayer sandbox and give a story that people really like. And I think if the campaign is killer and the multiplayer, for me, they could literally just copy paste Halo 5's multiplayer. I think that sandbox is perfect. Like if they just copy pasted that in Halo Infinite, I would be happy with like up-res.
Fascinating.
And then in terms of the campaign, that's probably the one where they need to do a little bit more work in terms of making it different, differentiating it some way. Because I actually talked to one of my coworkers, Ryan, about this a lot. He runs the Xbox podcast. He points out a lot that like Halo's the only first-person shooter left where people actually care about both the campaign and the multiplayer pretty much equally.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's really not any other ones, and I think that's pretty interesting. So there's a lot of like weight on Halo specifically that I think other games don't feel, right? Like Call of Duty's never under pressure for its campaign to be good because people are going to buy it for the multiplayer no matter what, right?
Yep. Same with Battlefield.
Same with Battlefield. And then on the other side, you've got like games like Doom Eternal that nobody really plays those for the multiplayer. It's really all about the campaign. And so Halo has a lot of kind of weight on its shoulders, and I think they can rise to the challenge. I think third time's going to be the charm in terms of like 343 cracking both sides of the equation. I just hope that they, like, my fear personally as like a Halo fan who's one thing about me that's like ridiculous is I've read all of the Halo books, which is like years of my life dedicated to reading about Halo. And for me, I really don't want them to change the story so much that it feels like they're retconning what happened in Halo 5.
Sure, yeah.
I personally think they should stick to their guns, and like the community should give them a chance to prove that could be a good story, the direction that they went at the end of Halo 5. And I don't think they've been given that chance yet because of the decision to basically backseat Master Chief in Halo 5, which that part of the criticism, I will admit, is a little warranted, right? Like, but if they can put Master Chief front and center and continue to tell the story that has always been about Master Chief and Cortana and their relationship, and do it in a way that the audience feels like it's a good, awesome Halo experience, then I'll be happy. But it's going to be pretty. It's kind of nerve wracking, man. There's so many changes. They're going open world. It looks like they're just changing a lot. So
I feel like that's the thing that I think it's going to help Infinite like really hit it with people. Is it's not even a multiplayer thing. For me, it's all about discovery. Like we need that sense of discovery again. Like.
Yeah.
When the Master Chief Collection came out, and recently I just decided to go through all the Halo campaigns again.
Wow.
And it's so much fun too.
Yeah.
But I hadn't played Combat Evolved since the Anniversary Edition first came out. So I replayed,
I think, or something.
Yeah, something like that. So I replayed it, and I was like, man, this is like so good, because I just felt that sense of discovery again. When you first crash land on the Halo and you rise above the hill and you're seeing all the trees, you're seeing the Banshee for the first time. You see the I forget what the building is called, but the little building that shoots the thing in the sky. What is it called? It's the firefight map too.
Oh,
Installation 04.
Installation.
Well, that's the name of the Halo, but that's the name of the firefight map. But all that discovery from level to level was great. And then Halo 2 did the same thing. We could talk about how the story may have been too long, a little too drawn out. Some of the fight sequences were a little weird.
Not for me, man.
Clunky.
I love that game.
Sure, yeah, me too. Absolutely. But that sense of discovery was there throughout the entire game.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I will say that's actually something I think they've gotten progressively worse at, with Halo 4 probably being the worst offender, which is like in Halo 1, the maps in campaign were so open world, you could kind of like go anywhere and figure out where you're doing. At least the way we think of it, like that map you were talking about, the second level in Halo Combat Evolved, is like the first time it occurred to me that a first-person shooter could be open world. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy, right? It was so revolutionary. And I think over time the levels get a little bit more narrow in scope until Halo 4 it's basically just a series of hallways. Like that campaign, you're going down like super narrow.
Yes, it's exactly what happened.
Environments that are containing you the whole time. And I think Halo 5 did open it up a little bit. They created like alternate paths and stuff like that. But I still think they have a lot of work to do in that regard. And what they showed at the Xbox event last year, I think is promising, right? Like an open world map in the Halo universe, that sounds awesome to me. Obviously, there were other complaints about like the graphics and whatever, which I personally don't care about because I could play, Halo 3 today from the 360 version and still love it. But it's a legit complaint, so we'll see.
Yeah, I just feel like because they're doing that open world, that allows them to up the discovery factor a lot more. It's a brand new Halo. It's Zeta Halo, so now we get to see like what's the comparison of Zeta Halo versus Installation 04. What's the difference? It's a whole new Halo ring. We get to be on it. Whole new world of discovery. I think that's what's really gonna take us over the edge. Now, what's your Halo Infinite wish list? Like if you had to have, let's say 3 things Halo Infinite had to have, what would it be?
It's hard to narrow it down to just 3. There's I have so many opinions on
Go
this,
as far as you want then.
Yeah, but I guess the first one would just be that like my wish list is like don't turn their back on the story. They've said that this is a soft reboot of the Halo franchise. It's kind of like a spiritual reboot, and I'm okay with that. I think it probably needs one at this point, but I don't want it to be a full reboot of the story where they just say goodbye to everything that they did in Halo 5 and Halo 4. I think that would be a betrayal, so I hope they don't do that. I hope that they stick to the multiplayer that was in Halo 5. I love the firefight. I love the arena match. I love the what was like the replacement big team battle. It was like not a battle royale, but it was like the massive one where there were AI and
there was
I forget what that mode is called.
I forgot what it's called too.
I love all those modes. I think
was it Warzone?
Warzone. That's right. I think it was that.
Because I was like, it couldn't have been Call of Duty's Warzone name, but yeah, I think it was Warzone.
I think you're right. I think it was called like a Warzone or something like that. I've not played Halo 5 in way longer than I would like to admit. But yeah, like if they could keep the multiplayer close to that, I think would be great. Vehicles. I know vehicles have always been in Halo, but increasingly vehicles are being taken out of shooters, and they're kind of like putting you on the ground. And I really hope Halo embraces vehicles like a lot of its other games have. But in the campaign, I would love it if vehicles were like front and center, like they were a really common thing. And then side quests. I guess that's another one on my wish list.
That's a great point.
Yeah, like it's an open world game. If they don't do side quests, I think that would be pretty disappointing. I would also like social zones where you're not really fighting anything. Maybe you're talking to allied Covenant forces and that sort of stuff. I think that would be cool just to hang out with some Sangheili. And they've kind of done that. Like they did that in Halo 5. There were levels where you were just walking around like non-combative areas, but this is an open world. So I guess like my hope is that this will do for Halo what Breath of the Wild did for Legend of Zelda, right? Like it'll take the formula you know and love, and it'll keep a lot that people loved about it, but they'll sort of turn it on its head and bring it to this new generation that kind of explodes. That's obviously an extremely large ask, but if they manage to pull that off, that'll be incredible for the franchise.
Absolutely. So then that brings up the question. 343, in my opinion, hasn't had the best track record with Halo. Master Chief Collection launched in an awful state. I remember buying it day one and waiting an hour for multiplayer. Campaign worked, but finding somebody to play with on campaign, up and down. Halo 4 worked. Story was there, but like you said, I feel like that was the ghost of chasing Call of Duty. And I don't know if you agree with that sentiment, but coming off of Halo Reach, where it was, loadouts, progression changes, squad-based kind of campaign, very Call of Duty-like. Then Halo 4 still kind of doing that thing with the in the multiplayer, basically the kill streak drops and things like that. I felt like there was still a little bit of chasing there.
Halo
and then
4, I think it's more like they were just trying to figure out what Halo was going to be like in this new like generation with the new studio. I think it was mostly that. But yeah, you're right. It definitely.
That's fair.
I would say the multiplayer in particular felt nothing like what I think Halo should feel like sprinting, and it was just very fast, very COD-like, as you put it.
Yeah, and then Halo 5 launched, but it didn't feel nearly as full because it didn't launch with multiplayer. You didn't have
Halo 5?
Yeah, Halo 5 didn't launch with multiplayer, didn't it?
No, it did.
Oh, it did?
Had the arena mode.
Okay.
Yeah, it had a Warzone. It had a lot of stuff. I reviewed that game for Gaming Trend, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, they had like the arena and stuff. I would say Halo 5's issue was that the multiplayer was incredibly good, but the campaign was just extremely divisive, and I would say probably more people hated it than loved it. And the fact that you didn't play as Master Chief was like a huge, like people hated that. They hated that you didn't play as Master Chief, man.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I remember when Halo 2 came out, I played Combat Evolved when I was a kid, and then Halo 2 came out, and everyone was pissed off that you played as this chump Sanghelios and you weren't playing as, like, you know, they were like, why am I playing as an elite? This is stupid. Who's the Arbiter? I don't care about him. And now people look back on that and they're like, oh my god, the Arbiter's so cool. I love that you get to play as him. And I'm like, what the hell? So I'm wondering how long it's going to be, or if ever we're ever going to look back at Halo 5 and be like, that was cool that we got to play as another character, but probably not.
Maybe. But how do you think 343 is going to take Halo Infinite at launch? Because I feel like 343 is really good at making things better once it's out in the wild. Once people have touched it, they've said their opinions, they're great at making stuff just better. Like Master Chief Collection at this point is undeniably like a must buy. So what do you think is going to happen?
I think they're playing to their strengths by intentionally making a game that's going to evolve over time. They've said that this is like basically a game as a service type game. Like they're releasing it and they're going to evolve it over time. And I think because that's what 343 has shown that they do well anyway, they're really good at like growing and building upon a base. I think they'll probably play it safe with a few the things that they know are really good, and then they'll flesh it out from there. So it might be one of those things where initial reviews aren't that great, which happens a lot with games as a service games like Destiny, like The Division, where like the initial reviews aren't that good, and then you hear a year later, oh, you should really go back and play that game. It's so good now, you know? I think it could be like that. To me, though, that would be worst case scenario if it didn't come out with a bang and immediately kind of like blow people away. Obviously, I hope that they'll build something that's amazing on day one and then make it even better and expand on it as they go. But we'll see. It's sort of unlike 343 to keep people in the dark like this. Like I remember Halo 5 had a bunch of betas and they got a bunch of feedback from that. So the fact that they're not doing any betas now makes me wonder if like maybe they're not touching the multiplayer that much, so they don't really need feedback there, or they must have some other plan. But yeah, I'm not really sure what their plan is. But yeah, I think they probably have the knowledge that they are better at being the caretakers of the franchise than launching something new on day one. So maybe they're building the game in this way to kind of like play to their strengths, you know?
Yeah,
that's my thinking.
That would make sense. And it fits with, you know, what's happening with modern shooters nowadays anyway. So many of them are going live. So
do you think we'll get a Battle Royale in Halo Infinite?
So that was going to be my surprise question.
Oh, really?
For you, actually. But I don't think we'll get a Battle Royale. Maybe not until maybe year 1 or 2. Probably 2. But I think it should have a Battle Royale. I do think it should. Do you think it should have a Battle Royale?
I'm torn on this one, man. Like, on one hand, I remember the day somebody asked if there was going to be a Battle Royale in Halo Infinite, and somebody from 343 retweeted or, you know, or commented on it. The only BR we care about is Battle Rifle. Like, and I remember when he tweeted that, I was like, yeah, screw Battle Royales, you know? Like, I'm old school. I don't want to play a Battle Royale. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, damn, you know what? Halo's perfect for Battle Royales. They already have a ton of vehicles, right? They've got tanks, they've got flying ships, they've got warthogs, and I was like, oh my god, am I now on team Battle Royale? Because like it almost seems too perfect. Like Halo, also Spartan groups work in squads, right? They Like, there's just so much
you.
about it that kind of, the more I thought about it, I was like, shit, I think I might be down for them to have a battle royale.
When Apex Legends dropped and battle royale was like, okay, this is here. This genre, I mean, PUBG started it all. Fortnite blew it up.
But it was
and
a
then
little gimmicky. Apex made it serious,
Yes. That's when I thought, I was like, Halo needs a battle royale.
Yeah.
Halo by itself already fits for a battle royale. There's so many weapons. You got all these power weapons. You have so many factions you can play around with. You got the Halo world to play around with.
You've got drop pods for Spartans. You've got Covenant drop ships if you're playing as the elite. You
writes
can take
itself.
place on a Halo. It's kind of ridiculous. The more you think about it, you're like, God damn, I'm like it. They'd be stupid not to, right?
I'm saying I just feel like it would just make too much sense to at least explore the idea.
Yeah.
I'm
with you, man. I'm
with you.
I
make
don't,
a video about my idea.
I don't want to be pro battle royale in Halo, but I somehow find myself more and more. I think about it. I'm like, damn, I would totally play that. So,
yeah, I would play it too. Like, I'm with you. I'm totally like hardcore. God General 2 never made it to 3 in Halo 3 and all that. Like super. MLG, all that with Halo. But at the same time, I'm like, from a business perspective, I think it would be foolish for 343 and Microsoft to just completely throw away that idea. Them saying the only BR we care about is a battle rifle. I'm like, you're saying that, but you can't deny that everything that's been set up from here cannot work for a battle royale. Of course it can. Yeah.
The other thing is that, like, I just hope, I think you're probably right that if we do get a battle royale, it won't be at launch, because they would have had to talk about it at some point, I assume, even though, as far as I know, I don't think we've heard anything about multiplayer for Halo Infinite. So it's possible that it won't even launch with multiplayer, which
we've seen maps, we've seen some guns, but not even maps, just like a screenshot of a piece of a map.
Yeah. So I don't even know what their plan is for multiplayer, but I think you're probably right that it wouldn't launch with it. But they've done stuff that is close to a battle royale before, right? Like they've done the Warzone thing. They've done Big Team Battle Forever, which kind of has elements of it. So I could totally see that coming in later. And if it's something that they're going to build on for a long time, it could end up being like Call of Duty Warzone, where it's just, that's their multiplayer sandbox that attaches with all future Halo content that they develop. So I'm with you, man. I think that would be wild and crazy. My request would be, you can't do it. 343, you do not have my permission to make a battle royale until you first launch a arena shooter that honors the competitive control the map roots of Halo. If you do that, then you can have fun with your battle royale and your other multiplayer modes. But I need the competitive arena shooter, similar to what you did in Halo 5, before you do any of that extra stuff. Because to me, that's extra credit. Like, if they launch Halo and it has a good campaign, but then the multiplayer is just a battle royale and it doesn't have the arena stuff, that to me is like, absolutely not. Like, you've completely gone off the reservation. So we'll see.
Well, the last thing is, a lot of people forget, and you brought this up at the beginning, Halo is both the campaign and the multiplayer. A lot of multiplayer people forget, like, campaign is very important to a lot of people. So, a lot of multiplayer people, it's like, the multiplayer's got to be great. But it's like, campaign's going to sell this game. So as much as you want that multiplayer to be fantastic, like, you better hope that their campaign is great too, because otherwise your hoppers aren't going to be as hoppy. So, they got to make sure all that's good to go. But Travis, appreciate you hopping on. Follow this guy on Twitter, Tieguy Travis, at Tieguy Travis. Again, he talks every week about Destiny. Fireteam Chat is the podcast. You can also watch it on YouTube. And he's writing for IGN. He has a review for Oddworld Soulstorm coming out very soon. So, Travis, thank you again for hopping on with me on this conversation. That's it for this episode. Tap that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this. Also, subscribe to hear more conversations around all kinds of video games. I talk about everything that I play. And also, you can catch the latest gameplay videos for the latest game right here on Gaming Trend. My name is Anthony Shelton. I'll talk to you later.